All right. Hey, everyone. This is the Intentional Insights open board meeting for August 22nd, 2018. And we're here with several Intentional Insights volunteers and supporters. So would you like to introduce yourself, everyone?
Hi, I'm Jane.
You're
Jane.
first.
Ladies first, Jane. Hi.
Oh, I'm Jane Gordon. Hello, everybody.
Okay, and then Herb.
Hi, I'm Herb New.
And then Tom.
And that's it.
Hi, I'm Tom Dwyer. How are you?
Hey. All right, everyone. Great. So the first thing, as usual, is we'll review what's been happening since the last open board meeting before talking about the topic for today. So we've had a busy summer. We've been really focusing on getting politicians to sign up for the Pro-Truth Pledge. That's been the major area of our work over the last, how long is it? Yeah, I think it's been 2 months. So we're holding board meetings every 2 months, open board meetings. So it's been 2 months, and we've gotten, I think, something like about 80 more politicians to sign up over this time, which I'm very pleased with. I think that's really good development. So having more politicians sign up is really helpful. That includes getting one more Congress member and several more state legislators, as well as many more candidates for office and local level officials. This is an important period to get politicians signed up, of course, because of the midterm elections in the US coming up. We're focusing mainly on the US right now, although there's a growing pro-truth pledge presence outside the US, especially in Brazil, as well as the usual suspects, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. We also have had our first feature newspaper publication in India about the pro-truth pledge in The Hindu, which is one of the 2 Indian newspapers of record. It's kind of like the equivalent of the Washington Post here in the United States. So really prominent big newspaper. So really happy about that. And what else has been going on? We've, of course, this has been a really great month from a evidence-based perspective. So we had 2 studies that were long in the making, 2 studies, peer-reviewed studies published in peer-reviewed journals in July. And so those just came out, and so that's really great news. We have now pretty solid evidence that the Pro-Truth Pledge actually does cause a change in people's behavior for at least a month after they take the pledge. People are sharing more accurate information, more truthful information on Facebook, which is what the studies are about. One of the studies involved external observation by researchers of people who allowed themselves to be observed, and the other study report involved self-reporting. So 2 different methodologies, both found substantial, highly significant, statistically significant change in people being more truthful. So 2 different methods. So that's really good. So we have strong evidence that the Pro-Truth Pledge is effective in that regard. That's quite good. Now, we've also been developing merchandise. I can let Jane have a turn to talk about that, about the merchandise that she's been working on, but that's some stuff we've been doing. And then we've also are trying to collaborate with other organizations. So recently, the Pro-Truth Pledge joined the Listen First Coalition, part of the Listen First project. So that's one coalition that we joined, and we're trying to join others and collaborate with others, as well as reach out to specific demographics. So one of the nice things that I'm pretty pleased to report is that we have someone who joined our advisory board. Her name is Felicia Winfried Cravens, and she's the co-founder of the Houston Tea Party Society. So really glad to reach more to conservatives and get more conservative folks involved in the fight against misinformation. So really glad about that. So that's another development that's been going on. And I think that about covers the things that have been going on with the Pro-Truth Pledge and Intentional Insights more broadly. So I'm going to stop now and see what kind of questions people have, and then let Jane share about the merchandise she's been doing.
What kind of feedback do you get when articles are published? For example, the one in India.
Oh gosh, that's a really complex question to answer because the feedback is very diverse.
I mean, do you hear things, or do people sign up? Do they go to the website?
Yes. So that's one of the biggest drivers of signups that we have is articles getting published. So for example, in the last few days, I've published articles in Scientific American, Common Dreams, Progressive Army, BuzzFlash, and I think somewhere else. Anyway, and we're getting hits from all those websites.
Yeah, that's great.
Other questions?
No, I don't have many questions.
All right. So, Jane, do you have any questions, or do you want to just start? Oh, go ahead.
I'll give you some activities. I'm actively involved in our county Democratic organization, doing a lot of phone work, phone banking, things like that. And we just opened an actual Democratic headquarters in Guntersville, Alabama. And former Governor Siegelman was there to cut the ribbon. It was pretty good. And I've passed out almost all of the pro-truth business cards.
Excellent.
I expect to get, I'm working real hard on the man who's running for DA, State Attorney General, I mean, State Supreme Court Justice, and young guy running for Congress in our district. He's up against, oh God, I mean, it's hard not to be very cynical. It really is. And yeah, the thing that is just so weird, I am now using Beto O'Rourke. I'm name dropping Beto.
Great.
I mean, if he can do it, they can do it.
I'm sorry, guys. He broke up there, Herb. Could you say that again?
I'm name dropping Beto O'Rourke, Texas, who's running against Cruz. In order to get these, everybody is paranoid.
Both
everybody is, I mean, you know, like Giuliani saying truth isn't truth, and then I'm talking about pro-truth. Oh God, these are strange times.
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are.
I mean,
and sifting, it's almost impossible to sift through everything. Well, it isn't for me. It's impossible. I don't know what you guys might have some kind of special brain technology that I'm not functioning with.
It's hard.
But I get inundated from people. I have just a small internet show. I get messages. I can't even keep up with them. And half of them, I don't claim to be like a super smart individual. I think I got a common sense pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
But some of the things I read, I'm actually purging my page today because I'm being trolled by mask-wearing Antifa-like. They're not Antifa, but they're just people that I pissed off and they just want to cause trouble. And but it's like they're not working in truth. They're telling all kinds of crazy lies about me because I guess I've annoyed them in some conversation. And it's actually comical, the memes they're making. Everybody tells me in the talk show world that's a good thing, that haters make you grow. But I'm like it's like you can't even have a real conversation with people today.
No.
And they always deteriorate to where it's not a conversation. It's just it's back and forth name calling. Labels. And that's where I just go, okay, I'm done. Bye-bye. Yeah. Like, not interested. So that's why when Gleb first started this, I reached out to him because I'm like, wait a second, truth sounds cool. We could use some truth. You know,
I have a little sign in the back window of my car that says "Facts Matter." And the other day, someone drove by and gave me the finger.
That's unfortunate, folks. Yes, this is the kind of difficulty that we run into when the truth is under attack in our society, and that's why the pro-truth pledge is so important. So, Herb, if you contact Agnes, she can get you some more business cards.
Yeah.
So just Facebook message her. That'll be great.
Hey, Gleb, on that note, I've given out about a third of your cards you mailed me.
Excellent. That's wonderful.
I'm going, but where I'm going to like music festivals, and I don't know that I just don't know if that's, I'm just putting it out there that it might not be the best. It seems like they take them. You don't have time to really get into it. I just tell them, check it out. Sure. It's kind of an interesting situation you might want to look into if you have some time.
Excellent.
But you wonder what the percentage, that would be, how many people, I don't know. I'm just telling, but there's a fair coming up if it doesn't get rained out, because Pennsylvania has been getting rained on like 80% of the summer. And that was where I was thinking about maybe trying to get rid of the rest, where everybody will converge.
Great. Yeah, the more you can get the word out, and people will check it out, and then they can decide to sign or not to sign. But our goal is to get the word out. We can't control what people do.
Right.
We can't control what other people do. We can only control what we do. And what we can do is get the word out, and that's the most important thing. And Tom, in regard to your show, just briefly, that I think, being very clearly humble like you are, saying, you don't know, you're not sure, there are other people out there who might have more confidence, but you don't know. That's what public figures like yourself, a radio show host, that's the appropriate, ideal behavior for those who took the pro-truth pledge. Just clear in your humility and the kind of things you know and the kind of things you don't know. Yeah. I mean, when I do interviews, when somebody asks me about something I don't know, I'm just not my area of expertise. I don't know that.
Yep.
Okay, great. And I see that Lorenzo Neal joined us. Lorenzo is a member of our advisory board, and he's a Christian pastor. Hi, Lorenzo. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. Conservative Christian pastors, I meant to say that.
Say a prayer for me.
Hello.
All right. I'll right now give Jane a minute to describe the jewelry she's been making for Intentional Insights. I'm sorry, for the Pro-Truth Pledge recently. The Pro-Truth Pledge is a project of Intentional Insights. So Jane, would you like to share about the great jewelry you've been making?
Hi, everybody. So I had this idea. I was looking at the Pro-Truth Pledge logo, and I'm a jewelry designer, and I'm like, that could look like really cool jewelry. It could look really beautiful. And people that want to, show off their commitment to the truth, it's kind of like an insider's thing, like a cognoscente. You have to know. But, wearing a lapel pin or a pendant with the logo, the Pro-Truth Pledge logo, it could really signal people your commitment. For politicians, wearing that as a logo, I think would be really cool. People that see it and they know the Pro-Truth Pledge, they'd be like, oh, you're one of us. Mishpucha. That's a Yiddish word. It means family. But there's, I just put a link of the first pieces that I made. So what I did is I made a pendant with a little loop on the back so you could wear it on your own chain or cord. And I made a lapel pin. And they're really beautifully made. I priced them in sterling silver and 18 karat gold and 14 karat gold. So we have prices that range from $125 to $1,250. Once we get a few of these sold, we can also take some of the profits, and I can go to China. I mean, I'm not going to physically go there, but I'll have my people in China make them in stainless steel, but then that's like a whole other setup cost. So I thought, let's just start with the ones that are made here in New York City. And what I really want to do is get people working together with win-win-win situations. And I'm not exactly sure how to do it, and I'm open to a lot of different ways of doing this, but if any of you guys want to sell some pieces, then you'll make a commission and Pro-Truth Pledge makes some money. And, we can actually create something where we're all supporting each other in a lot of different ways. I'll shut up.
I just want to break in. I think while you were talking, I was thinking, I hope she's making a lapel pin. Not gonna lie, my current situation, I can't afford any of that, but I can maybe try and help sell you some. I just a personal story though, quickly. When I was young, before my back accident, I was quite successful in the photography business. One of my customers had come in with a lapel pin on, and it had the Elks. I don't know if you know about the benevolent group called the Elks.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of them.
I asked, yeah, a lot of people don't even know, but I'll tell you quickly, I'm a past president because that meeting at that portrait session, I seen his lapel pin and I said, sir, could you tell me about that pin? He said, well, sure. Real quick, in a nutshell, it's the only group in America that's has 23 benevolent committees for the community, and it's about God and country. Now, I was raised Catholic, but I don't know if you know about the Pennsylvania News of the Priest. I left that church a while back, but I still believe in God, okay? That's, but the thing is that the lapel pin is a powerful thing. I asked the man, then I joined the organization, then I did good things for veterans. They're the only group that supports the flag and veterans. That was very appealing to me because my father served in Korea. Anyway, I'm glad you said lapel pins because they do spur conversations, and I asked and got involved in something for many years because of a simple interaction with a lapel pin. That's
awesome.
That's my story.
So let me just share my screen, and you'll be able to see the lapel pins over here.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. So there's a specific technique how to share a screen. I'll just show everyone. So these are the lapel pins over here. You can see how beautiful they are. This is the pendants and so on. And there are different prices. So this sterling silver starting with 125 to the like 18 karat gold at 1,100 to 150 and everything in between. Just want to share that and so that everyone can see what they're like.
And when we, you know, if we just like, I always think it's good to set, you know, to start out with the most beautiful version. You know, Chanel or Ralph Lauren can make an inexpensive version and sell it in Walmart, but Walmart can never go make a nice version and go sell in Bergdorf Goodman or Saks Avenue. So it's always good to like start with the most beautiful versions, but we can, you know, if people want to, and if when we start making sales, I can make it sold for under $50 or maybe even a whole lot less. You know, I have to figure it out, but we definitely can do another version. But I think for starters, let's get these out there and let's get people making money and making money for Pro Truth Pledge at the same time. And we can do it a lot of different ways. You know, we can do it where someone has money to invest and they want to buy a couple and take it to events. They can do it that way, sell them, you know, use them as samples, take orders and make money on those. We can do it by having something like some kind of tracking code that leads back to like, we'll give a discount on the jewelry. It'll go back to whoever sent the discount. You know, like let's say we go a 25% discount, then it'll have your name attached to it. We'll know that to give you a commission. And I'm open to new ideas. Like I'm open to ideas. If anybody has a website, we can post them on your website. If you sell any, just let me know and I'll make them. You get the commission. PTP gets the rest of the profit. There's so many ways we can figure out to do it. It depends on what your situation is.
Okay, excellent. Lorenzo, can you do me a favor and mute yourself because there's a background sound going on. Thank you, Lorenzo. Excellent. Thank you, Jane. And if anybody is interested in further exploring this, please email info@protruthpledge.org. Again, that's info@protruthpledge.org.
You know what, Gleb, I think Agnes did not. I think people can just email me directly because I think Agnes was like, I'm going to save her from stress and figuring out how to do it.
Oh, sure. I just want people to have, she would connect them with you. So it's better to, yep, it's better that people just know the address. I just didn't want, she specifically said, like, I don't want to think about wholesale. Like, I don't want to give her any stress that she doesn't need. Fair enough. So then Jane at janegordon.com. So again, JaneGordon.com.
Yeah, Jane like Calamity, Gordon like Tarzan and Jane.
Excellent.
I mean, Gordon like Flash. Sorry.
No worries. Okay. Great. So, are there any other questions about things that are going on more broadly?
I have a question.
Please.
Just really quick, what's the truth on this Cohen, all that? What's the skinny on that? Because it's overwhelming to me. And also, Gleb, why are you sitting on the ceiling? Why is your head so close to the ceiling? It's confusing me. Is that your camera angle? Maybe forced perspective?
I think it's probably my camera angle. No.
Okay, it looks like you're like right on the ceiling.
No worries.
Just joking, Gleb. Just a joke.
Okay.
What was your question about Cohen?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is that I'll be honest with you. I kind of like, you know, I think it was the first gentleman I was talking to. He said he has to be cynical about it. That's people on both sides are cynical about everything, and trying to sift. Like, here's my point. Like when I have Gleb on the show, and if you'll come back, Gleb, you're welcome back on. I have some real big heavy hitters coming. I'm giving it 5 months to make my show something, or I'm going back to just podcasting and I'm retiring this ugly mug. But it's too, like when you look into it, the news hits you, okay? You get inundated with opinions, your friends, this, that, especially when you run a show like mine. Look, I like to take my time and sift through things and not have a knee-jerk reaction where the majority of the internet is knee-jerk reactions. And if you ever read the 8 trillion comments, I mean, right? I mean, was the one gentleman said he got the finger, pardon my finger, but like, how do you, like, I just don't get, like, the speed at which this information is coming at you, even when you think you know the truth. Do you really know the truth? Is that a dumb question, Gleb? You're the professor. Well,
but what's your question about Cohen?
I was just curious what everybody was, and again, I don't, when I'm in the middle, like I'm humble like Gleb, I don't know geopolitics or big time politics. I know local politics. I could tell you about some corruption in my local area for my whole life. Where they got caught, you know, with the hands in the cookie jar and all that. But
can I chime in here?
Sure.
Cohen was a little scumbag, two-bag. Like he graduated from law school, but he was doing a very sleazy part of the business, selling taxi cab medallions. And it's not that by definition that has to be a sleazy part of the business, but you know, he was a pretty sleazy guy. He was like kind of an ambulance chaser kind of guy. And, you know, he hooked up with Trump and he was Trump's fixer. And he would call people, like if there was someone that had an issue with Trump, he would call them and he would say, I will fuck you up. I will make your life miserable. I will chase you down till you are dead. Like he would tell people, you're right. This lawsuit might be correct, but you will never win because I will screw you up. And this was
Jane, let's keep it family friendly here. We might have kids watching this.
Sorry. I was in commercial real estate from like 86 to 90 when Trump was trying to do his buildings. I live across the street from Trump International. I live on the same street as Trump Park, and I live like 4 blocks away from Trump Tower. And I know Trump from the neighborhood. I know him from the industry. I don't know him well, you know, never went out with him or anything. Ew. But I know his MO. He was a really, really bad guy.
Okay, Gleb, I don't want to hijack your meeting. I just wanted a general real quick, but I feel you.
So general real quick, I think this is one of those things where it's important to be humble and it's important to say, this is who Michael Cohen is. I think Jane is, I wouldn't endorse everything kind of, you know, in the same tone and language that Jane.
I'm a New Yorker, and it's the law that we have to use the F word at least 4 times a day here. So I apologize.
Fair enough. So I wouldn't endorse it in the tone and language that Jane used.
In her defense,
Michael Cohen
is crazy.
Was Donald Trump's fixer, so addressing various problems. Now, once Michael Cohen got in some legal water, so again, a lawyer got in some legal water, he made a plea agreement and implicated Donald Trump in a number of corrupt dealings that Michael Cohen engaged in. According to Michael Cohen, Donald Trump was also a participant in these dealings, and he didn't. And whereas Trump would say that, well, Michael Cohen did it without my knowledge. It's very hard to know what actually happened, and that as further evidence comes out, as there might be documentation indicating the truth is toward one thing or toward the other. Right now, we have to look at the very limited information we have and say that this is just what's going on. So that's the kind of perspective I would go with, and just kind of focus on observed behaviors, what we can know in a very limited sense.
But wait a minute. First of all, he did not make a plea agreement. Second of all, he already pled guilty without any plea agreement, without any deal. He pled guilty to defrauding the banks in order to borrow the money to pay the $130,000.
Okay, Jane, let's really, this is really getting into the weeds. My point is, and I was responding to Tom, the limited amount of information we have should lead us to have this sort of limited perspective about what is known. Other people can claim many other things. They can claim a lot of suppositions. It's very important to go with limited information and observe behavior. There might be, Jane, you might have more and additional information because of your knowledge and background living in New York.
What he pled guilty to is all over the news. That's not limited information. If you say, I plead guilty to this under penalty of perjury, I'll go to jail for perjury if I'm lying, and then you talk about what he pled guilty to, I think that's pretty specific information.
Yes, I'm not suggesting that you should not talk about what he specifically pled guilty to. What I'm suggesting is the salient part of what's going on, his implication of Donald Trump in these activities, is something that's based only on his word so far. As far as I have seen, there is no documentation, evidence, email chains, or so on, of Donald Trump's direct orders to Michael Cohen to pay someone off. So this is what I'm saying. This is kind of the limited stuff. This is the actual issue under debate. So that's my perspective.
I just thought it fit the whole pro-truth. My point is, and then I really don't. Jane, we could talk. You can come on my show and talk about this, because this is what my show is. I want to hear from everybody. Like Alex Jones getting wiped off of Facebook and all the major medias. That's troubling to me. But we could talk about that on my show. But I just thought, here's a guy who studies this stuff, university level. I don't. Mm-hmm. So when I get hit by this barrage of people with all those different opinions, I go, guys, it happened yesterday. Can we just absorb some of this, and can we sit back and have a cup of coffee? Does it have to be a reaction? That's too atomic for my way of thinking. Anyway.
Sure. So that's great. That's the exact pro-truth pledge perspective, to take some time to look at things carefully and say, we have limited knowledge. Let's not overreact and jump to conclusions without further evidence.
Wouldn't you say, though, that in a court of law, the verdict is a form of truth? It's based on truth.
Well, I'm sure we're all very familiar with verdicts that were later overturned and found to be incorrect.
Well, I hear that.
Okay, so the verdict in any situation is just what the jury decided is most likely to be the case.
True.
And again, plenty of cases, plenty of times, by later investigations of DNA evidence and so on, or later findings, have overturned jury verdicts.
Yeah. Okay.
So, we have to be pretty careful about what we use as standards of evidence. We can only say that this is what 12 women and men decided
Sure. Okay, I get that. Yeah.
All right.
By the way, I love the adult conversation here. Nobody's cursing. Well, Jane cursed a little bit, but she's from New York. It's okay.
Excellent.
I don't think it counts as cursing if I'm quoting somebody.
Okay. Let's have this conversation afterward.
And the poor pastor going, oh my God, please.
So I see we're past the time. We're just a little bit past 7:30. So I want to respect everyone's time, and I want to thank everyone for coming to this open board meeting. This was a
right.
really productive conversation and good stuff. Thank you again, Jane, for the jewelry. That's great. If anyone is interested in, again, if anyone's interested in wholesale, participating in getting the jewelry out there, email Jane at janegordon.com. Otherwise, if you are interested in getting more involved in the Pro-Truth Pledge, email info@protruthpledge.org. All right, everyone, have a great day.
Even just posting the link on your pages or on your website, like even if you don't want to really get involved in following up and figuring out or anything, just even sharing the link maybe with people who are interested.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
I know.